Hi, Jacob here. Today I wanted to talk about my quest to find the perfect ultra-wide monitor, or at least a fantastic one within my budget. And an ultra-wide that would be pretty good for some of you guys out there as well. And later on I'm going to talk about my final pick, the one that I chose, and what some of my other options were. This was going to be my first ultra-wide, so I did a ton of research. And I first need to tell you about my discoveries over the years using 4K screens and dual monitor setups. This will partly explain how I narrowed down my search, plus it's going to highlight why an ultrawide is a better choice for myself over simply using the traditional aspect ratio or double screen. First of all, since I could remember, many of my typical desk setups entailed having two monitors, and there have been many studies over the years about productivity and how having more screen real estate helps you just get more work done in a day. I feel this is absolutely true for myself, and I feel this is even more pronounced when your line of work involves having multiple programs or windows open and referencing data between those windows, because if you can't have at least the couple windows that are most important to you open and referencing those data, you're going to spend a lot of time throughout the day just juggling windows and just kind of switching between programs. I think I've covered why using dual monitors is fantastic, and I feel that a lot of you out there get it. The question is, why go for an ultra-wide over the more common aspect ratio? And we're going to talk about that in a second. But I want to tell you about my previous setup. It was two 27-inch 4K monitors, and I know a lot of people these days, they want the 4K monitors, but let me tell you, 27 inches, in my opinion, is just too small for 4K. The sweet spot for 4K, in my opinion, is about 32-inch screen. Everything is sharp and you can read the text on the screen, and at that size it's just comfortable. 4K at 27 inches, the text and the menus are just too small. Plus, running at a lower, more comfortable resolution, say 1440p or even 1600p, I think you'd be challenged to see the difference in sharpness at 27 inches. And for this reason, I would mostly run my monitors at 1600p anyway. I'm mentioning all this because most of the prominent complaints about using an ultrawide is that most are not 4K resolution. And yes, you can get some high resolution ones, but they're super expensive and basically equal to two 27-inch monitors side by side. And we just talked about how this size is just not big enough for 4K, and running at a lower resolution, you're not going to notice a difference anyway. Plus, look at Apple. They push the 2K standard for most of their screens smaller than the Pro XDR 32-inch because it just makes sense. So let's just close this argument. I think for most people, it's just not an issue at all. So why didn't I go with a standard ratio 32-inch monitor or slightly larger? Well, at 32 inches, in my opinion, you still can't properly do side-by-side windows. They're just not large enough, and it's just, some programs just don't format properly, and you don't get all the menus and that sort of thing. And if I go larger, then you basically have a living room TV on your desk, and that's just not for me. Let's now talk about some of the models I considered and what I ended up settling on. So there are two basic common sizes for ultrawides. There's 34 inches and there's 38 inches. And of course there's some larger ones, but those are the two common sizes. And just in case you don't know, they're both about the same width. 34 inches is the true 1440p, while 38 inches is just a touch taller, so just more vertical space, and it runs at about 1600p. This was a no-brainer for me. I wanted the kind of taller monitor with more vertical space. So in my opinion, 34 inches is just too vertically slim, making you feel restricted. So if you're buying an ultrawide, definitely go for the more vertical space because it's not going to take up more space on your desk anyway. I think you're going to be a lot more comfortable and you're going to thank me later. I ended up whittling down my list to two monitors, the Dell UltraSharp, it's the U3821DW. And I feel this was a really nice monitor. It's new to the market and has some unrivaled features. It's a true 10-bit panel. It's very color accurate. It has a built-in KVM switch and also has a built-in hub that delivers 90 watts of power to your laptop. Having a KVM switch allows you to have two computers and a set of peripherals with one monitor. You can switch back and forth between the two systems. And I know a lot of people who have PC and Mac, they use this feature. Also the Dell, the hub that was built into it was a real hub with tons of ports, including Ethernet and a downstream USB-C port. So the second monitor, and the one I ended up going with, was the LG, it's the 38 38WP85C-W, and this is also a new monitor for 2021, and it has a really nice set of features as well. And I really trust LG monitors. I've tried many screens over the years, and I always find that LG monitors just make their way onto my desk for both productivity and gaming as well. Aesthetically, I feel both were great, very premium, contemporary. I think they just tie in this department. The LG was priced much better than the Dell though, and I think this is likely due to the fact that LG just makes their own panels and like I mentioned before, and they could probably just keep their costs down while still making a top-notch screen. Though the Dell was slightly more feature-rich, most of these features I just would never use anyway. As an example, I'll never use the KVM switch that's built into the Dell because I'd never hook up my PC to a 60 Hz screen for gaming. And actually, if we're talking about KVM switches, the LG, it kind of has a workaround. It can handle 2 inputs. It's just not a full-blown KVM switch. And yes, LG's 90-watt hub is less featured compared to the Dell, but for me, this really isn't much of an issue because I have a hub anyway, and it's a quality hub, much better than anything offered on a monitor anyway. Something to mention, the LG has an ambient light sensor, which I feel is a more useful feature. I often leave my blinds open in my office and I'm working at all hours, and my screen just automatically adjusts to the room light, and I feel this is a really, really nice feature. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the screen. That's what we're buying here. LG is the leader when it comes to making panels. It's simply their business. And after using this monitor for a number of weeks now, I can say it is just absolutely amazing. I have no regrets. The colors are perfect. It matches well with my MacBook Pro. And I'm sure the Dell would be a great monitor as well, but I ended up going for the LG, and it was just the right monitor for me. Also, going ultra-wide has just been fantastic. I find myself docking my computer to my workstation more often, and it's just been a huge upgrade for my office. And I wanted to take a quick second and provide a tip to Mac users out there. If you are on a Mac, there's a program that I use called Magnet to manage my windows. It has shortcut keys, and you can also drag windows around and snap them within different areas of your screen. And it also has a drop-down menu, so you can just pick different configurations for snapping your windows, and it just makes my screen management throughout the day just so smooth. And lastly, if you are doing research for monitors, there's a fantastic website out there for looking at models and all of the features about them, the year that it was released, and all the information listed. And it's for every monitor out there. The website is called displayspecifications.com, and I'm going to put a link down in the description as well. It'll definitely help with your research. So guys, let me know what you think about my decision to go with the LG. Do you think I should have gone with the Dell? Are you using an ultra-wide right now, or are you thinking about making the switch? Definitely hit me in the comments below. And if you do like my style of content, leave me some thumbs up, subscribe maybe, and I'll see you in the next one. Talk soon.